It is a pleasure to be joined by number 3 ranked UFC heavyweight Tai Tuivasa. Tai, number 3 ranked. How does that sound?
It's pretty cool. Yeah, it's
And
pretty cool.
of course, that happened because of that beautiful knockout of Derek Lewis at UFC 271. But let's rewind a bit. You said you accepted this fight when you were drunk. So when you sobered up a little bit, did you come to a realization like what just happened here? Like what was the process or the discussion like when you got offered that fight?
No, it wasn't like I was well enough to know what I was kind of on about, but I did forget about it until I woke up. But yeah, I knew it was a good fight for me. Even though it was on 4 weeks, I was still fit from my last fight, so I knew that I just need to get back to work, and yeah, it paid off.
I think a lot of people were complaining that they didn't see the shui, the celebration. They're like, what happened? Did Tai not do a shui? I saw it. I mean, I'm in the Middle East. I watch it through UFC Arabia, so I didn't know what people were talking about. But apparently, in the US, in the pay-per-view broadcast, they didn't get to see the shui, but I did.
They didn't.
Apparently, I saw a lot of people on Twitter being like, what? Did Tai not do a shui? And I'm like, wait, he did. I saw it. So I don't know. Apparently not. Apparently they didn't see it.
Uh, I think I saw that version maybe.
Right.
Because
Yeah,
I
yeah.
think I just had it on the other side. Yeah,
All right. Well,
I
you're
don't
you're
know. That's their fault. I feel sorry for my American fans. Sorry, guys. I wasn't. I couldn't record the angle.
I'm sure we're going to see many great clips of it spreading online. But well, Tai, I did want to talk to you because I've been seeing kind of your coach. Several people post this kind of promo video. You, Stipe, July. What can you tell us? Is something in the works here?
It's definitely a fight that I think that should be up next. Or especially if it's a fight I want. You know what I mean. I think the other guys around the clock. I think we're gonna be around for a few more years, and out of respect, I think I would love to. I'd love to share the ring with him, and I think I'm up there for a chance of it. So why not? You know what I mean? Yeah, why not? I think he's a great fighter. Someone I've watched for many years, and someone I'd definitely love to challenge myself against.
I mean, I couldn't see why you wouldn't want that fight. And rankings wise, it makes sense. And it's that next step up for you. He's widely regarded as the greatest heavyweight of all time, former champion. I mean, that would be the perfect like number one contender fight, right? Like there's every advantage to fighting a guy like Stipe.
Definitely, and yeah, I think it's about a good time. He's still in the game, so yeah, why not?
Because heavyweight, the top of the heavyweight's a bit muddy, obviously, because of everything that's going on with Francis Ngannou and his
Mm.
contract negotiations with the UFC. John Jones, who knows when he's actually going to make his heavyweight debut? Something tells me that the UFC's probably trying to make that Francis and John Jones fight. I mean, Dana recently did say like he's confident that he's going to get a deal done with Francis, who's healing from an injury, who's I think back home in Cameroon. But what do you make of everything? Because it almost seems like it's muddy for everyone but you, right? I mean, you've been active, you've been doing your thing, taking guys out. So it almost like I believe you might be one of the few guys that's actually on a winning streak in the upper echelon, at least of the division.
Yeah, well, me, I'm not too much on the on the politics side of things. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? But like you said, I'm on a 5 fight streak now, and now I'm number 3. You know what I mean? I think it's not that hard. He's just Stipe's in front, um, and like I said, it's someone I'd definitely love to challenge myself against, and especially because it's someone that I've seen, do his thing for many years, and well, he's still in front of me at the end of the day. You know what I mean? So someone I'd like to go against.
And what do you make of Stipe? I think in his past 10 fights, his only losses were to Daniel Cormier, which is a trilogy he settled. And then his last outing against Francis Ngannou. And no shame. You guys are heavyweights, right? Like it's kind of kill or be killed
I think
most
you
of the
said it
time.
before. He's known as the greatest heavyweight of all time, and I think that he definitely deserves that title.
Yeah, and do you think he's sold down at all? He is getting up there in age, or do you still think he's got a lot left in the tank?
To be honest, I wouldn't have. I wouldn't have an idea, but I'm sure he's a champion, so I'm sure that it's definitely not all out of him. But while he's still fighting, while he's still around, and now I'm at the position I'm in, I think it's fair enough to ask for that fight. Well, chuck it out there, and like I said, he's 3. I'm number 3. He's 2, so I think it makes sense. If I
Does
was
it?
still number 11, I definitely wouldn't be asking to fight Stipe Miocic. It doesn't work like that. But I think it kind of makes sense now. I'm on a 5-fight winning streak. I'm number 3, and he's number 2.
Well, that was the perk of taking the Derek Lewis fight, right? Big risk, but big reward.
Exactly. And now we're on a roll. Let's roll with it.
And is it safe to say that like preparing for a fight against Stipe, you feel like he would try and wrestle you? Is that the way you'd see it?
Yeah. Oh, yes, and I don't. Now you're getting me too much into the technical. I don't. You got me. I don't know. I'm sure that'll be up to him and his camp and who he listens to and who he takes advice off. And same would go for me and my camp, I think. So that's the fun bit. We get to watch a fight at the end of it.
Right. And July, timeline-wise, that works for you. I mean, obviously, the last fight was a very short camp. It was a quick turnaround. Would it be nice to get some time? I believe you're back home in Australia now, right? Is it nice to kind of like relax a bit?
Definitely. But I think that was the timeline that we heard that Stipe wants to have a fight again. So that kind of makes sense as well.
Right. And I want to ask you a few questions about the division in general. First of all, what do you make of Francis Ngannou's kind of negotiation issues with the UFC? Do you think it gets resolved? Do you think Francis stays with the UFC?
To be honest, I don't really. That's. I see what he's doing though, and I back it. Good on him. He's the champion, and I think that the champions deserve, what they deserve. I don't know. It's not. I'm not too. I don't know too much about it, to be honest. But I see him going off. I seen him doing his things, and at the end of the day, I'm a fighter, and I think that we do fight in the hardest sport in the world, and we deserve to get what we deserve as fighters.
Do you
Obviously,
care or not?
all fighters are different. You know what I mean? I think that's up to the company or whatever that is. But yeah, I support him. Good on him, and do your thing.
Do you care if he stays not in terms of his actual negotiation, but Francis Ngannou, the fighter? Like, do you aspire to fight him one day? I mean, obviously he's been very dominant.
If he's around, of course I'll fight him. Yeah, that's a challenge. This is why I fight. To challenge myself. If I get knocked out, I get knocked out. At least I had a crack. It's been not hard. You know what I mean?
Well, I like the way you simplified.
Maybe sometimes, in life you go in and you knock the other person out. It happens.
Exactly. There you go. Just look at your last fight with Derek Lewis. And how about John Jones? He's talking about heavyweight. I think somebody pulled up an article from 2013 where John Jones was talking about the idea of going up to heavyweight, but obviously he's been physically gearing up for it. Do you think we see him in 2022? Like, what do you make of the idea of John Jones moving up to heavyweight? Do you think he does well?
It's John Jones. Still one of the best fighters, or maybe the best fighter of all time, you know what I mean? But of course he'll do well. I'll fight him.
Yeah. Do you think he'll because obviously coming down from light heavyweight to heavyweight, I'm assuming he expects to have a speed advantage, but obviously heavyweights pack a lot more power than the light heavyweights do. So how do you think he's going to fare in terms of that, in terms of like the actual power that the heavyweights carry?
I still think he'll be a powerful man. He's a big human, naturally. Like I said, it's John Jones, so I think that he could do whatever he wants, as in fighting. He does his own thing, whatever he does, but that's his thing, But I suppose I don't know. Like I said, that's a lot of politics for me. We're talking a lot of politics today. My job's to get in there and fight, and I know who I want next and know what I want to do, and that's what me and my team are talking about, and that's really all I care about. Everyone else, yeah, do your thing, and if we're gonna fight, we're gonna fight.
Well, this must be exciting for you, right? That you're in this position in your career, being part of the upper echelon of division. I know I'm throwing all these names at you, but I'm throwing like greats and consensus greatest heavyweight of all time. Like, this is exciting, right? The fact that these are the questions that are being thrown at you.
It's very cool, and like I said before, even to say Stipe's name, you know what I mean? I think it kind of sounds a bit surreal sometimes, even when I say it, but it's like I'm here. Like I've made it now, and I'm up here with the best, and that's who I want to get next. So yeah, it's pretty cool, like you said. But you know, it's time for some people to move out and some new people to move in.
Right, the new wave. Well, Ty, before I let you go, and I appreciate your time, something slightly less political, I hope. You've been obviously had a lot of success since you started training in Dubai. You reconnected with your coach, Sean Sullivan. For those who don't know, what's the connection with Coach Sean Sullivan? Like, how did you guys meet initially?
We've known each other since I was a young kid. He's friends with my older brothers, and yeah, he's known me for a long time, and yeah, we started like training and fighting that together, and then we just really got into it. And then he moved over to Dubai, and then I kept doing my thing, and then now we've been back, and we've been training hard, and you know he does a certain job not many people can do, especially with me. I might be a handful to deal with, you know what I mean? So, um, yeah, there's a bit of yin and yang in there, you know what I mean? He's a bit more calmer and I'm a bit more whatever, but we get the job done and he makes sure I get the job done and he keeps me on my toes and we're doing really well. And I think we've got a good thing going, you know, we're getting a good team around us, especially over there in Dubai. It's been awesome for me, you know what I mean? I've got a really good team of guys. I've got a good team of people just around me, giving me advice in life and stuff like that. And yeah, it's really showed. I'm now number 3, and that's the boy from Western Sydney up there.
Absolutely. Well, there you have it. Ty, I really appreciate you doing this. The Stipe fight, I love it. I think the call out, or not the call out, I mean, the fight itself makes a lot of sense. I think rankings wise, I think, you know, you've been active, you've been putting guys away. The win over Derek Lewis, the big risk, the big reward, paid dividends. And here you are, International Fight Week, I believe that would be around that time. Makes a lot of sense. We'll see how this very political heavyweight division plays out, but you've been doing your thing. So let's see how it
I
plays
do
out.
love Vegas. I do love
Yes,
Vegas.
yes, you do. Maybe we'll get you in a fight in Abu Dhabi, but maybe no. You know, yeah.
Oh, I'd love to get back to Abu Dhabi, fighting Abu Dhabi. But when is the next fight there? Do you know?
October should be October.
June, July, October.
Nothing compared to 4 week turnaround, right?
Yeah. No. Why
That's
not?
like
Why not?
yeah, it's like a massive training camp for you.
No, anything can happen. Anything can happen. So
Yeah,
we'll
yeah.
see.
We'll see. Well, Ty, thank you so much for doing this. I appreciate the time, and let's see what happens with Stipe Miocic.
Thank you very much for having me. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Absolutely. Thanks.
Cheers.